Video games have come a long way since their debut in 1958. From simple tennis games to AAA budget games that we can all enjoy nowadays. Along the way, we have seen that some games failed to impress, but at the same time, many of them have made history in our lifetime. These games were so great that they revolutionized the genre or even opened the eyes and minds of people to the possibility that games like that can actually exist. What's up, guys? It's me, Mr. Sass.
And I'm BDK.
Hi, and I'm G-Rank.
Whatever. Today, G-Rank and BDK are going to join us to talk about 10 video games that changed the face of gaming industry.
Without further ado, let's get to it.
Hey, that's my line.
Let's start with number 10, Doom by ID Software, 1993. Okay, this one is right off the bat with no need for any further introduction. For those of you who don't know, Doom is a fast-paced FPS where you take on the role of a space marine. Not that space marine. He is later known as the Doom Guy. I know. It was actually Doom 2 that made the series skyrocket and popularized the first-person shooter genre, paving the way for games like Battlefield and the Call of Duty series today. But you just have to respect the OG of Doom, man. As far as I can tell, back in the 90s, the only real FPS people could enjoy was Wolfenstein 3D. Sure, you could play games like Battlezone or Catacombs, but come on, be serious. Who wants to play those anyway? I don't know about you, but I bet the majority of people must have heard the name Doom, and only a small number of people have ever heard about Battlezone. Why? The gameplay is why. The art direction is why. Doom's gameplay was something people had never experienced before. It was fast, brutal, and most importantly, it was fun. To make sense of it, many people still play Doom nowadays for nostalgic reasons or simply to create content out of it. The point is, people still love Doom. Furthermore, we can now play the continuity of the series. Pick your poison. Want a slow and horror-filled Doom? Get Doom 3, 2003. Want to relive the similar experience of Doom 2 with better graphics? Play Doom from 2016, and the list goes on. So in conclusion, you can hate me for it, but I'm just gonna say it. No Doom, no FPS.
No Doom, no FPS? Shh, that's rich coming from someone who wasn't even born in the 90s.
Dude, you said it was cool!
Okay, moving on to number 9. Thief. The Dark Project by Looking Glass Studios, 1998. It's true that Thief is not the first video game to attempt to depict the stealth element. 005 by Sega did it first. Nevertheless, before Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell was cool or Metal Gear Solid was a thing, Thief was actually the true FPS stealth game. Okay. Before I anger some MGS fanboys, I'm just gonna say this. Metal Gear Solid may have popularized the stealth genre, but in terms of novelty and concept, no stealth game can beat Thief back then. The gritty dark ambiance, the gameplay, the sound design, the art, everything about this game seems out of this world. Playing as Garrett really makes you feel like a steampunk stalker with tons of cool gadgets to play with. Back then, after finishing Thief for 100th time, and I felt I just have to get me some more stealthy shit, I would grab Metal Gear Solid or Splinter Cell. Both series are good in their own right, but they are not Thief. Modern war stories and politics, modern weaponry, modern gadget, blah blah blah. Nah, it's not Thief. Okay, for what it's worth, we have Tenchu, which can also be considered a bit of a stealth game that resemble Thief in some ways. But really, guys, when you grew up with Thief and played any titles I've mentioned before, comparing them to Thief, you know what I'm talking about. I can only wish that there were more games like Thief back then, even to this day. I believe it's safe to say that there are no games worthy enough to be called the spiritual successor to Thief. Today, we have games like Dishonored, Hitman, Deus Ex, Assassin's Creed, and while they're great in their own way, and some of these games tried to borrow some element from Thief, but still close but no cigar. But don't get me wrong, I still love these new games, and in some way, playing them, it's my way to respect what Thief series had done for stealth genre. Sadly, the Thief series has ended with the mediocre last installment. However, I decided not to count it as successor or anything of the sort. My only hope is that the Thief series will make a comeback with improved gameplay, stories, and graphics. And next is number 8 with StarCraft by Blizzard Entertainment, 1998. For many, StarCraft is more than just a game. It's a journey back to the late 90s, a time when PC gaming was on the rise. Opening that iconic box with its futuristic cover, the anticipation of what lay inside, It's a nostalgic trip that gamers of that era hold dear to their hearts, including myself. I still remember unwrapping the CD case for the first time when my older cousin gave it to me as a New Year's present. I inserted the CD into my CD-ROM, patiently waited for it to install, and when the main menu theme played, I was awed. The next few clicks led me to the main Terran campaign, and I was hooked. The visual presentation, the musical score, the strategic elements, everything about this game was just right. What set StarCraft apart wasn't just the hype, it was the gameplay. In an era saturated with real-time strategy games like Age of Empires, Command and Conquer Red Alert, and Anno 1602, StarCraft emerged as a true gem. In StarCraft, you don't play as one, not two, but three different factions, each with its own unique pros and cons. These factions aren't mirrored, like in Settlers, Age of Empires, or Red Alert. Whether you want to play defensively with the Terran, enjoy durable units with a powerful punch as Protoss, or swarm the entire screen with your army as Zerg, StarCraft offers a choice for every strategy. The dance between these three factions is perfectly wrapped in a single-player campaign, which only got better with the release of Brood War, the expansion pack, introducing new units, maps, and closure to the campaign story. And let's not forget the soundtrack. I'm no music expert or anything, but listening to Terran's progressive rock with a little bit of Southern touch is an experience I can never forget. But StarCraft didn't stop at being a great game. It became a cultural phenomenon, especially in South Korea. The rise of competitive gaming, or esports as we know it today, can trace a significant portion of its roots back to StarCraft. The game's popularity in South Korea is incredible. We have Basu with his Protoss signature gameplay, Flash with his Terran, Savior with his Zerg. The list goes on. To think the world of RTS gaming without StarCraft is like living in the Fallout universe, a world without transistors. It's possible. It goes on living, but it's just not the same. StarCraft was, still is, and always will be the RTS that I love dearly.
And moving on to number 7, we have The Sims, a life simulation game by Maxis. The Sims. A game that's not just pixels on a screen, it's a virtual world where our creativity knows no bounds. Like, literally. Do you remember what's it like to play The Sims back then? I sure do. That quirky animations, the Simlish language, and who can forget those iconic green plumb bobs? Damn, fun time! Well, behind all that fun was a genius mind, Will Wright. He's the man who cracked the code for creating the perfect life simulation. Will Wright discovered the secret sauce, the fun formula that made The Sims, well, The Sims. But here's the fun fact. There was no human life simulation game before it. The Sims was the pioneer, the first to make it, and it was a huge commercial success. Sure, Will Wright had given us Sim Earth, Sim Ant, and Sim City, but they were simulations on a grand scale. The Sims, however, brought simulation down to the micro level, letting us control the day-to-day lives of virtual humans. While other games let you slay monsters or shoot some bad guys, The Sims, however, chooses to simulate your mundane daily life. The endless chores, the social needs, doing a job, preventing disasters, even sleeping. Sounds boring? On the contrary, it is truly captivating. And oh boy, did it succeed! The Sims 1 smashed sales records, and the list of expansion packs seemed never-ending. From livin' large to making magic, the Sims universe just kept expanding. But then came The Sims 2 in 2004, and we wondered if it could live up to its predecessor. Spoiler alert, it did, and then some. Now, fast forward to the anticipation for The Sims 5. With games like Paralives and Life by You on the horizon, EA faces stiff competition. The question on every Simmer's mind is, will EA learn from their mistakes in The Sims 4? You know, things like no pools and no toddlers in the base game, and the removal of the open world feature, which fans loved from The Sims 3. Will The Sims 5 prove once again that it's the OG, the king of life simulation games? Or will EA let their greed destroy our beloved franchise with stupid business model? Oh, I don't know. Things like cutting off the content which should have been in the base game, or God forbid, release a half-baked game? One thing's for sure. As we eagerly await The Sims 5, the legacy of this iconic franchise is etched in the memories of Simmers worldwide. Stay tuned, Simmers! The virtual world is about to get a whole lot more interesting.
And next is number 6, we have GTA 3, an action-adventure game by Rockstar North. It's hard to believe it's been over 2 decades since this groundbreaking game hit the scene back in 2001. And yet here we are, eagerly waiting for the next installment, GTA 6. Yeah, baby! Now, we aren't going to be gossiping about GTA 6 leak or anything, just let's rewind a bit. GTA 3 was a game changer, taking a drastic turn from the top-down shooter style to a fully immersive third-person 3D adventure. Sure, other games like Tomb Raider Chronicles, The First Hitman, and Sacrifice had experimented with a similar camera angle a year before GTA 3, but the impact wasn't quite the same. So what was really happening back then? What made GTA 3 considered as one of the most influential game of all time? In short, the answer is that GTA 3 was the first game that sold the promise. Go wherever you want and do whatever you want.
Go where you want and do whatever you want.
Sorry, Todd. Rockstar kinda did it first and better, but without saying a single word, I digress. Sorry. As I was saying, GTA 3 promises us, the player, that they can enjoy the open-world adventure in a fully 3D rendered world. People went wild. The freedom was intoxicating, and players couldn't get enough. But the real reason why GTA 3 was so successful is that GTA 3 wasn't just about its open-world premise. Rockstar meticulously built this universe from the ground up. Every character, weapon, vehicle brand, story arc, fictional franchise, and even the radio talk shows had their own distinct charm. The level of detail in this game was, and still is, mind-blowing. You can even find one of the talk show hosts in GTA 5 as part of the main story. If you've listened to his show from GTA 3 to GTA 5, you know how crazy the detail Rockstar gave to this side character. And when it comes to the gameplay aspect inside the living world of GTA 3, you weren't confined to just main missions. There were numerous side activities to choose from, finding hidden packages, delivering wanted vehicles, payphone missions, and much more. Each one was crafted with attention to detail and fun in mind. Fast forward to today, and open-world adventure games seem like they're taken for granted. But little do people know, at some degree, it was GTA 3 that made it possible. The freedom, the chaos, the immersive experience, it all started here. Games like Skyrim, Uncharted, Saints Row, and countless others may owe a debt to GTA 3's third-person camera and its open-world mechanics combination. And as its developer, Rockstar not only revolutionized a third-person adventure genre, but also left a powerful impact on the gaming industry with this masterpiece. We can only hope that Rockstar will raise the bar with the release of GTA 6, which I sincerely hope will happen in the near future.
And next at number 5, we have Counter-Strike. Now let's talk about the game that turned your computer into a war zone, Counter-Strike. It's 2000, and the FPS scene is drowning in futuristic laser beams and fancy tanks. Pew, pew, boom! Then comes along Counter-Strike, a game that said, let's keep it real, folks. No sci-fi nonsense, just intense, realistic battles on compact maps. And the genius part? The damn monetary system. Win a round, get more cash, die, and you're stuck with a pea shooter. It turned each round into a high-stakes poker game, testing not just your trigger finger, but also your strategic mind. The sensation of get good was real. In no time, every single internet cafe must have Counter-Strike as their main attraction. People love this game, and the game keep getting an update until its best form in Counter-Strike 1.6. Fun fact, Counter-Strike started as a mod for Half-Life, created by the dynamic duo Min Lei and Jess Cliff. Valve saw the brilliance, grabbed the rights, and in 2000, Counter-Strike became a retail juggernaut, and the rest is history. Fast forward to 2003, and Counter-Strike achieved legendary status. It was officially inducted into GameSpot's prestigious list of the greatest games of all time. The New York Times even reported that Esports Entertainment ESEA League kicked off the first professional fantasy esports league in 2004, with none other than Counter-Strike at its epicenter. Long story short, Counter-Strike didn't just dominate. It was the godfather of esports, laying the foundation for competitive gaming as we know it.
Next at number 4, Defense of the Ancient, Dota, 2003. Now let's talk about the granddaddy of MOBAs, the game that started as a humble Warcraft 3 mod and became a genre-defining legend, Dota. Picture this. You have Warcraft 3, one of the best single-player strategy games on the planet. Then, you let your game be modded by some geniuses like IceFrog and Steve Feek. Boom! And just like that, Dota was born. Calling Dota inspiring another developers to create something similar is quite insulting. It didn't inspire them, it actually birthed an entire genre. It took the gaming world by surprise, and before you knew it, everyone was already playing it. Some fun fact, ignored by Blizzard, IceFrog turned to Valve. Valve, being the savvy game gurus they are, recognized the untapped potential. In 2009, they didn't just knock on Dota's door, they kicked it down, grabbed the rights, and released Dota 2 in 2013. This wasn't just a sequel, it was the evolution of a gaming revolution. Dota 2 took everything that made the original a legend and cranked it up. Nowadays, people can enjoy games like Mobile Legends, Arena of Valor, and Wild Rift on their phones, all thanks to Dota, which made it possible. Whether you are a seasoned pro or a casual gamer, Dota is a name that resonates across the gaming landscape. In simple terms, one can't claim to be a gamer if they've never heard of Dota.
And at number 3, we have Call of Duty. Infinity Ward, the mad geniuses, looked at the World War shooter scene and said, yeah, we can do better. And let me tell you, they absolutely nailed it. Call of Duty 1 dropped on us like a blitzkrieg of gaming awesomeness. To understand its impact, let's take a quick trip down memory lane. Before Call of Duty, World War shooters were like playing hero dress-up. You, the player, were the lone warrior shouldering the weight of the entire freaking war. It was heroic, sure, but hilariously unrealistic. Now enter Call of Duty and suddenly you're not the hero. You're just a tiny speck in the grand scheme of things. You're not the lone wolf, you're just another soldier in the mud, fighting shoulder to shoulder with your comrades. It was like a wake-up call saying, hey, you're not Superman, you're just a regular dude trying not to catch a bullet. Call of Duty didn't just revolutionize the World War shooter genre, it kicked mediocrity square in the teeth. But here's where it gets juicy. Call of Duty wasn't just about being different, it was about being better. Let's be frank, comparing it to its competitors like Medal of Honor, Allied Assault, which, let's be honest, had that one memorable mission at Omaha Beach but struggled to deliver a consistently gripping experience. And then there's Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30, a game that felt like a single-player mess. The game design was as imbalanced as a tightrope walk. And the AI? Oh boy, it had the strategic genius of a rock! The missions were all over the place, and everything that could have been right just felt wrong in that game. Infinity Ward didn't just step up to the plate, they knocked it out of the gaming park, leaving the competition eating dust. Call of Duty wasn't just a game changer, it was a paradigm shift, setting the standard for World War shooters and proving that sometimes you need to kick mediocrity where it hurts. The success of Call of Duty only makes Infinity Ward become bold and confident with their gameplay formula. Their next releases, Call of Duty 2 in 2005, also well received by FPS enthusiasts worldwide, with 5.9 million copies sold by November 2013. At this point, Call of Duty already embedded their brand in the hearts of World War shooter fans, and nothing can stop them from getting even bigger with the launch of Call of Duty Modern Warfare in 2007. While Call of Duty experienced its fair share of ups and downs throughout the history of gaming, but one thing remains certain: no shooter game has ever dominated as extensively as the Call of Duty franchise.
Next is number 2, Need for Speed Underground, 2003. Switching gears to the racing scene. Let's talk about the game that made us all feel like street racing legends. Before Need for Speed Underground arrived, racing games were all about predefined circuits and regulations, all fancy and expensive cars. You can be happy about it, or you can choose rally, which frankly is not for everyone, or playing cute kart like Mario Kart or CTR. No offense, I love CTR, but come on guys. Then everything changed when Need for Speed Underground arrived. It was so refreshing, yet so grounded and relatable. In Underground, you're not racing a supercar like in F1, nor are you racing cute animals in carts. You're just a regular guy with a compact car who wants to make a name for yourself through street racing. No fancy racing circuits, no pit crew, no regulations. Just be the fastest of them all. That being said, the game allows you to upgrade your car not just for the sake of winning, but also for style. And the level of customization in this game was crazy. To me, the only thing missing from Underground was the cops, which eventually made a comeback to the series in Need for Speed Most Wanted. To be fair, Underground didn't actually revolutionize the racing genre or anything, but it just opened our minds to the idea that a racing game should be about speed, fun, and felt personal. These were the formulas that many developers seem to have forgotten when they initially developed racing games. Need for Speed Underground simply redefined those formulas and delivered to us one of the most memorable racing games of all time.
Finally, at number 1, we have Half-Life 2 by Valve, 2004. Back in 2004, the FPS adventure genre is in a bit of a rut. Sure, we had a couple of gems like No One Lives Forever, Star Wars Jedi Knight, and Halo Combat Evolved along the way, but nothing quite like Half-Life 2. From the mind-blowing graphics with photorealistic texture to the jaw-dropping narrative presentation, this game simply a masterpiece that really ahead of its time. The graphics were so mind-blowing that I swear my eyes sent thank you cards to my brain every time an NPC talked to me with believable emotion. For those of you who don't know, facial expressions were still in an early stage in the gaming industry back then. Half-Life was one of the first games to take advantage of this technology. High 3D polygon counts, realistic textures, believable fire, and water effects. Half-Life 2 was a visual symphony. And let's not forget the storytelling. No cutscenes here, everything unfolded right before your very eyes. Half-Life 2 stayed true to its original value in this regard. But Half-Life 2 wasn't just pretty, it was also smart. This game introduced us to advanced game physics mechanics. Things like picking up debris of wood, manipulating objects to solve certain puzzles, using the gravity gun, clearing barnacles' infestation by throwing a flammable barrel at them. This game didn't just bore you with the shoot anything that moves mechanic, it also demanded your wit to overcome challenges. And let's not forget about the level design. From captivating opening scene running away from City 17, fighting zombies in Ravenholm, summoning antlion swarm to fighting the Combines. Half-Life 2's level design never gives you a dull moment. All levels are carefully designed and serve specific purposes. It's no wonder that Half-Life 2 was very well received, with a total of 12 million copies sold worldwide. The adventure story of Gordon Freeman also keeps getting interesting as Valve decided to release the Episode 1 and 2 in 2006 and 2007, respectively. Half-Life 2 has set the FPS adventure shooter genre standard very high, and thanks to it, we can now enjoy many FPS game with high quality set in the mind of developers. All in all, I'm still waiting for the next Half-Life. No, not another spin-off, Gabe, please. Just give me the damn closure of Gordon Freeman and I will be happy. And that's it for today, guys. These are 10 video games that changed the face of gaming industry.
Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you enjoyed this kind of video, please hit the like button and don't forget to enable notifications.
If you haven't subscribed yet, doing so would be a great help for us in growing this channel. Have a nice day and thank you for watching.